Okay, so we're going to pick back up on this raster analysis exercise, and we've just completed reclassifying the aspect into zeros and ones. So the true one areas were from 90 to 270 degrees. The next step is to find those areas that are within 500 meters of an existing road. So to do that, we're going to use our distance function under the Spatial Analyst tools, and we'll use this Eleusidian distance. That's hard for me to say, and you may want to correct me on the pronunciation of that, but it's this one here. Hopefully your video will let you see that. It's hard for me to say. So the input raster is going to be our roads. We're going to start with roads. The output, again, I'm going to make this, we'll call it RD distance, and make sure the cell size is 30. So I'm going to pick OK. And the software is going to generate a raster where each pixel is a different color based on how far away it is from the road. So the further it is away from the road, the darker the color gets, the blue. So you can see the orange 0 from 937 meters. So all of our true criteria is going to be in that first block of orange. So I need to reduce this grouping and change this grouping up to be zeros and ones, where the 1 is true, 0 to 500. So just like before, we're going to use our reclassify method. So the input is going to be my roads distance. I'm going to change the grouping. So remember, we either need 2 or 3. In this case, I can use 2. My first break is going to be at 500. And I'm just going to go ahead and make this one 10,000. I just want to make that higher than the number than what we have. Did I make it 100,000? Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to pick OK. So I have 0 to 500, which is 1. 500 to 1,000, which is 0. And I'm going to make no data, also 0. Make sure that this goes into my folder. We'll call it reclass roads. Pick OK. And so all those nice colors should be reduced down to 2. The purples being 1 is true, so that's the criteria that I'm looking for. The greens being 0 is false. So I'm going to turn off the distance and keep working my way down the list. The next thing we want to do is find a distance more than 100 meters from a stream. So it's the exact same process, except we're looking for the distance more than 100. So again, we're going to use the distance, and this time the input is going to be streams. I'm going to make sure my output is going into my layer, and I'm going to call this one stream distance. So again, I get a nice colored pixel where the darker blues are further away from the streams, and I'm looking to find everything from 100 greater than. So I'm going to reclassify this image. My input is going to be my distance streams. I'm going to use the classify button again, and remember, we either use 2 or 3. So I'm going to use 2. My first breakpoint is going to be 100, and I'm going to set the second one at 2500. Pick OK. And you can kind of see this chart is telling you where the data is falling. So you can see that we have this much of the data within, this much of the data above 100. So 0 to 100 is false, so I'm going to make that 0. 100 and above is true, and no data, I'm going to set that to 0. Make sure I'm in my folder. We'll call this one reclass streams. Pick OK, and I should just have zeros and 1. So here we can see that the red is true and the green is false. So good, I can turn off the original one, get that out of my way, kind of reduce the clutter. And finally, the last thing I have to do is the land use category and land cover must contain the term forest. So if I look at my land cover layer here, it's behind everything so it's hard to see, but if I look at the attribute table, we can see we've got deciduous, evergreen, and mixed forest types. So I'm going to change all those to be true, and everything else is going to be false. So this is already a raster, so I don't have to create a raster. I just need to reclassify it. So I'm going to take another closer look. So I want to look at the values. So the value for deciduous is 41. So I want 41, 42, and 43 to be true and everything else false. So that's important to know that. So my input is going to be land cover. I'm going to use the value. I'm going to classify. I'm going to change this to 3. So I want this one to be 41. This one to be 43. And I'm just going to make this one 100. So 41 to 43. This one's 0. This one's 1. 0. And 0. Make sure I'm in my, we'll call this one reclass land. Pick OK. And I should get zeros and ones here. Zeros and ones. Good. Okay, so now we've developed all these different layers where the values are either 1 for true for that particular area of land or 0 for false for that particular area of land. So what I'm going to do is multiply every cell times the adjacent cell in all the layers. So we're multiplying from the bottom up through all of these layers. And if there's 1s all the way across, then the output's going to be 1. If there's a 0 anywhere in that alignment, then the output is going to be 0. So this is a quick way to analyze where all this criteria is true. So where every one of the cases of 1s lie on top of one another, my output is going to be true, 1. So the way we do that is with the map algebra and raster calculator. So here you just want to make sure you don't miss anything. So we'll start back up at the top of the list. And so we want to make sure that we have the private. And then we're going to go times reclass of slope times reclass of aspect times reclass of road distance, reclass roads times reclass streams times reclass of land. Okay, so we're multiplying all of our criteria times itself, times each other layer. And so we're either going to get a 0 or 1 on all the pixels of the output. Make sure this goes into my, and so this is my, we'll call them home sites. So we'll pick OK. And now I'm going to turn off everything that I've been working on as far as the rasters go. And I'm going to go ahead and make my streams look like streams. And make my roads look like roads. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm only wanting the areas that are true. So on my symbology for my home sites, I'm going to remove the 0. And so now I just have these areas of green where all my criteria were true. So all I have to do now is to really pretty this map up with the title, scale bar, north arrow, legend. Be sure to include your name. But we've got all the work done here, and this is this is pretty much what you need to show: the streams, the roads, and the potential sites. Everything else is just used for analysis purpose and doesn't have to be displayed on the map. So hopefully this will get you through, and if you have any questions, you can always send me an email. Thanks.